Here's one of the issues that's, I think, crucial. What is our perception of reality? The Torah comes along and says, I want to retrain your thinking from before Torah, before Matan Torah, to a whole new way of perceiving reality. We perceive Gashmias as reality, and that's not correct. Hashem is real. Everything else is not the other way around.
Right.
So when we say Yad Hashem is anthropomorphic, what we're basically saying is that the anthro is real. We know what that is, and that's solid. My arm is an arm. We say the Eibishter has an arm. What kind of arm could he possibly have? Nothing compared to mine. Because mine is real. That we have to change.
Okay, that makes sense.
So in every level, in every, like, my rotzen, that's it? That's reality? No, that's just a moshul. We're created in his image. Why are we created in his image? So that we can understand him at least a little bit. But to say he doesn't have an arm, that's not kosher.
I would say he doesn't have an arm as we know it, as we experience it.
Exactly, because his is real and ours is not.
But then by calling his real, we're saying it's not an arm. It's something like an arm, it's something he wants us to experience as an arm, but it's not an arm.
That's exactly what I'm saying. Because we think our arm is real, and therefore his can't be.
Right.
It's the other way around.
I accept that.
His is real, ours is not.
Right. But I don't know what his is.
It's an arm.
I don't know what that is, because it's not my experience of an arm.
Okay, so...
So I know whatever it is, his is real and mine isn't,
and yet,
but I don't know what his is.
And yet, they're both called arm in the Torah, because from your arm, you can understand a little bit what his arm is. And that's learning Torah. That's not Kabbalah.
Right.
It shouldn't be Kabbalah, anyway.
Right. Right.
So if we change our perspective on that, which we must, then it's not anthropomorphic when we say Hashem's hand. It's diopomorphic when I call my arm an arm, which it really isn't.
What did the Rambam mean?
Exactly that. Exactly that. That we are the moshel, not he is the moshel. So he is the nimshal, which means he's real and we're a copy. That's such an important realignment. Because then you can believe in Nisim. You know, the people say, nobody can do miracles. Why? Because Gashmius is inviolable.
Right.
It's just a moshel. So why shouldn't miracles happen?
Right.
In fact, the miracle is more real than Teva. So the whole idea of refining the world, or Tikkun Olam means recognize the falsehood of this misconception that we are real and Hashem is debatable.
I accept that wholeheartedly. I teach that. The world is a matrix, it's an illusion, and he is the reality behind the matrix and illusion. We confuse the world. But I think there's still a gap between that orientation, which I share, and now I understand what Hashem is or what it means for him to need or feel or want. I know he's giving me that. In my world of an illusion, part of the illusion is to use the vocabulary of want and feel, but what it really means for him, I understand. I don't know what his arm looks like or what it means for him to have an arm. It's some way of connecting, just like mine is. That's why he chose that mashal, but I don't know what it is. I know what my arm is. I know his arm is not my arm. I don't know what his arm is.
But you can, because he gave you a mushal.
I don't know I can. That's where I stop.
Okay.
I don't, because I live in the illusion, and I can't swallow the pill that lets me get out of the matrix and see his reality. He didn't give me that pill. So I have to live and operate in the illusion.
Right.
And at least on the highest level of knowing, at least the reality of I'm in an illusion, I'm in a matrix.
Yeah, that's a good start. But that's exactly what Hasidus is all about. The Baal Shem Tov basically announced that it has come time that we start to understand these Misholim. And we can understand a lot more than we do. So the project basically is not to convince people that God needs. It's to get people to see God as real and ourselves as less real. One of the big steps in that is our need, we don't really need. He really needs.
Okay, I was almost there.
Yeah.
I was almost there.
I mean, that's nigla. That's not even. Is he less real than us? What is that?
No, but is his relationship with the word need the same as ours?
No, it's much deeper.
Just like his arm is different than ours.
And much greater.
And can I see his arm? Can I take a picture of it? Can I describe his arm?
Of course not, because
right.
It's real.
So I also can't describe describe his need.
Because it's real.
Okay, so then we can't understand his need.
No. Can
Just
we
like
understand that he needs?
Right.
Right.
Okay.
So if he needs, then he needs infinitely.
I'm not conceding that he needs or that he has an arm. I'm conceding that he chose to use the arm as a mashal for something else. I don't know what it is. Not that he has an arm or has a need.
And I'm saying if the mashal doesn't work, then skip it.
It does work. Just like the 5-year-old grandchild, at their language and their level, it works. Even though I'm using metaphors or adjectives or descriptions that don't conform with what the reality of what I'm saying, but so that they can comprehend it, I say it at their level. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu says things at our level with where we're at, and they do relate to a little bit, otherwise I would skip it, there's be no point. But they also, the 5-year-old needs to know, don't think you understand what I'm really describing, because it's worlds apart from the words I'm using and what I'm doing to tell you, because that's where you're at. If I sat with a physicist and they were trying to help me understand something, and I don't know the basics of physics, and they're a astrophysicist, they're a whatever it is, they might use language to help me begin to connect, to start to understand. But if I then mistakenly thought arrogantly, well, now I'm a physicist, and now I understand what he was trying to tell me, the nimshal. I couldn't make heads or tails of the reality of the nimshal, and my mashal language doesn't even relate to his nimshal understanding. That was his chesed to let me feel I got to begin to start to connect. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu says arm, he says need. That's your world. You can understand my little 5-year-old. But don't ever get confused to think that now you know what my arm and my need look like, because they're entirely different than yours.
Okay. Can we agree that every mashal opens you up to the nimshal? Is that not the definition of a mashal?
Right.
Okay. So if it's a really good mashal, the more you think about it, the more you're going to see the nimshal.
I don't know if me with the physicist or the 5-year-old with me could think about it all day long. But if cognitively they're not developed to understand the nimshal, they could think all day long. They won't. We cognitively as humans, finite humans, mere mortals, have limitations. As hard as we try, as developed as we come, we have limitations.
I don't buy that we've reached the limitation. We've got a long way to go. And that's the mitzvah of Yedias Hashem. To say we can't understand, then there's no mitzvah.
Okay.
So why assume that we can't before we've even tried?
I don't know what trying looks like. I don't know who we trust to try. I don't know where the boundaries of trying are. But I do know that I have 2,000 years of Masorah
that says you can't?
That we've trusted of where to try, how to try, and what we know.
Okay, so part of that Masorah is Kabbalah,
right,
which people have not yet tried.
Right.
And part of that Masorah is Chassidus, which people have not yet tried because they're content not knowing. And that's not good.
I think there's a lot more of the world trying. Not about Kabbalah, but with Chassidus.
That is good.
We're on the exact same page about the significance and centrality of Pnimius HaTorah. That we can't be living only a surface life. We got to dive deep, and we've got to connect in different ways. And I speak about, it's credited to C.S. Lewis, but he didn't say it, to know that we're not a body that has a soul. We are a soul that has a body, and that's a language that we share. And I don't begin to measure up to the competency with which you communicate it and what you know, but that effort and that goal is something that we share, including see this panemius and living at that other level. But I still think we're a far cry from saying that we can open our minds, experience, and dive into the panemius in a Masorah. Now, suggesting that we can understand the Nimshal as it relates to Hashem any more than we can understand Sadik Varala. There are limits to our understanding.
I agree, but we haven't reached those limits.
Okay, so
we're
that's
just
the part
beginning
I'm not sure.
to explore. The world is just beginning to explore.